Hi, everyone. Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Gracie and Amy.
Hello.
Today,
Coffee this morning.
my mom is just going to teach me and teach you. She's decided to just let me be the student.
Yes.
She's taking a break. So this morning we have, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. I think it's still morning for us.
Right.
We have some, I don't know, I'm gonna, for lack of a better word, condiments that, Italian condiments, I guess.
I would call it, I would say that, probably, we in Italian, that I don't really know the words that my father would have used, but I'm going to call these dressings and marinades, kind of,
Gotcha.
like a dressing on top. Like you can use these like in all different ways. What we're going to teach you today.
So dressings and marinades. Okay. So the first one is the pesto, the traditional basil pesto.
Yes.
Okay.
And the traditional basil pesto is really something that I came to learn in my older years after being married. It's not something that I used or my parents used. They used all the ingredients that was going to go into this, but they didn't make this particular dressing as I was growing up. And this pesto, this came about later on in my life.
So tell me what we need.
So you need pesto, you need garlic. I mean, not pesto, I'm sorry. You need basil, you need garlic, you need cheese, a grated cheese, you need olive oil, and you need pine nuts, or you can use walnuts, you can use almonds, some kind of a nut. The pine nut is the preferred.
Salt and pepper too?
Salt and pepper to taste. Yes. Okay. So this is a really basically easy thing to do. It doesn't take much time. It's quick. It's fast. So what you're going to do is put your basil in your blender. You can chop it up if you want, or just tear it up. You don't even have to chop it with a knife. You're going to add your pine nuts.
Should I not put these stalks in?
Yeah, don't put the stalks in.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You're going to put in your garlic. Sorry, the garlic. As always, the recipe will be included after the episode. We will have the recipes for this.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Using garlic.
You can make this as garlicky as you want, or we'll give you the recipe, but you can really kind of play with this pesto. When you put the garlic in and the nuts in and the cheese in, you can make it really, really one extreme where it's really flavorful, or you can make it strong, you can make it mild.
I'm beginning to think, okay, maybe if I do one at a time, it'll be much quicker.
And I will tell you, I have this garlic thing that Amy is using, and it is a lifesaver. I've never had anything like this before in my life.
Although be careful, it's open-ended. Just be careful you're not holding it up, because I just dropped garlic on the floor. Good thing the peel is still on it. Okay. Of course, I probably should have. Let's try this again. Okay. Bear with me. I have a lot of tiny pieces. Okay. And I probably should have gotten something to put all these peels in. No, this thing is really great, this garlic peeler. It does take the peel. Okay, garlic down. You do have to press a little bit harder though. I should have peeled all the garlic first. Well, while I'm doing this, maybe you could talk about some things you can use this pesto for.
Oh yes, okay.
This might take me.
So you know, after this sauce is made, after this pesto sauce is made, the original idea was to put it over a dish of pasta. Okay, any kind of pasta you want to make. You want to make spaghetti, you want to make rigatoni, you want to make penne, any kind of pasta. And it's basically you make the mixture up and you pour it over pasta. But then it came to be, and you see a lot of chefs and people who do shows on television, they put it on in their recipes with raviolis and on top of their meat, on top of their chicken. They mix it up with another a base, and like maybe with cream or tomatoes, and they make something completely different with the pesto sauce. So this basil pesto sauce is very, very versatile. You can do so many things with it by just playing with the recipe and testing it out. And I'm sure online you probably will find a lot of recipes to use your basil pesto. Now, also, I have seen many chefs on TV who use they will use spinach to make this. Some people have used kale to make this pesto. So really, a lot of your leafy green vegetables can be used in substitution of your basil. Now you will get a different taste. It won't be the same because basil has a very pungent flavor. But if you want what you would call a pesto, which is really what it means is something that is ground, okay, ground up, you could use many different leafy green vegetables to make this particular recipe.
Yes. Okay. So I got the garlic in there.
Okay. So now what you're going to do is add some cheese. Now I will tell you, I have found making this pesto that, let's just say it calls for half a cup of cheese. Well, I would put in a cup of cheese because I have found that the flavor of the cheese really enhances the basil and the garlic and the pine nuts, makes it taste really, really great. That's just for me. You don't have to do that. You can just follow the recipe as it is. But I have found that makes a big difference if you add a little bit more cheese to the mixture.
Okay, it's about a cup.
Okay. And the last thing you're going to put in is some pine nuts. In this recipe, you really don't need a lot of salt because the cheese is very salty. And you don't want to add salt in there without tasting it first, because you don't want the pesto sauce to be very, very salty, like extra salt in there.
Okay. I'll probably put a handful in.
Yes, right.
Maybe 2 handfuls.
And the use of other nuts like almonds would be fantastic. They would be more equivalent to using the pine nuts because their flavor is more mild. When you use walnuts, you're going to get a little bit more pungent flavor because walnuts are a little stronger than the pine nuts or the almonds for this.
Okay, so now I got.
And then your olive oil. Put a little bit at first and start to blend it.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay. So she's muting herself and she's going to blend this up so that we don't hear her blending, but we can watch her. And so you're going to blend it until you get a really nice, smooth, pasty mixture. She might be going a little bit too long, but that's okay.
That was perfect.
Okay, how does it look, Amy?
I'm gonna put it in the bowl now.
Yeah, so I can tell.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Very nice. That came out perfect. And this is what your pesto will look like when it's done.
Okay.
You want it to be semi-thick. Those are the words I'm going to use. Semi-thick. Oh, yes. I bet you it smells good too. Now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can taste this mixture. If you think it's not salty enough, just add like a pinch of salt.
Oh.
Is it perfect?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to add any more salt. That cheese is very salty.
Add a little pepper to it if you want. If you
sure.
want, you don't have to. But
right. So, let's take a break so I can clean up this mess.
Okay.
And then we'll come back. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna get this cleaned up so that it's not so messy. Okay, we will be right back. We are back. So Mom's gonna tell us what we're doing next.
Okay, so this next dressing marinade in Italian is called an Ammoglio. And basically what an Ammoglio is something that has oil and garlic and some kind of a vegetable. And this is going to be tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper. That's it. Now, I'll tell you how to do it, and I'll talk and tell you about this after you start. Just tell you all the things you have to do, Amy. Okay? So you're going to have to chop up your tomatoes. Chop up your tomatoes. You need to. You can chop your garlic, or you can put it in the garlic press. I would think to put it in the garlic press is better because it's kind of a pasty texture out of the garlic. So I think the press is going to give you that pasty texture more so than when you chop up it in the food chopper.
Okay. So
olive oil. So she's going to do that, and I'm going to tell you what she's going to be doing. She's going to chop up this, she's going to chop up her tomatoes and put it in a bowl. Then she's going to take her garlic and put it into her garlic press, and she's going to make it so it's pasty. Okay. Then, with that point, she is going to mix those two together in the bowl. And she doesn't have one of these right now. I'm going to have to buy it for her for a Christmas present.
Oh, yeah. You have to wait all the way for Christmas.
But this is what my dad would have used. And he would have had I have the bottom part, but it's too high for me to reach. But I have a little one that I can show you. So this is what my dad would have used.
I'm gonna mute myself right now.
No, you're fine. We can hear you. You don't, it's okay. Go ahead and chop.
Okay.
He would go and he would kind of muddle the tomatoes and the garlic together so the flavors would marry, okay? And it would give it a wonderful, and what it would do is...
I gotta mute, Mom, because that's too loud.
Okay. Okay, and so what he would do is he would muddle the two together, and he would pound it, and he would constantly do that. Of course, remember the mortar part was big, okay, and that's what he would do. Or he would even do it in a big bowl and take the big one, and he would mash and mash and mash all the way around, so he'd get this mixture to marry and to come together. And then he would add his olive oil. And the trick to this is you do want your garlic to be more of a paste rather than chopped, because that gives all that flavor to come out into this dressing, this marinade. Now, and then what he would do is have the garlic and the oil and the tomatoes. Now, I will say that, and then salt and pepper to taste. We usually had this mixture that he made after we would have grown the tomatoes for the season. And he'd always make this. We had so many tomatoes, and he would constantly make this Ammoghio for us. And it went over. And one of the things we loved to do was, after he made it, my mother had made homemade bread, and right out of the oven come out this wonderful, wonderful loaf of homemade bread. And my father would have this Ammoglio all ready, and we would just all go in and dunk. I think we ate the whole thing up. There wasn't anything left. Now, another thing for this Ammoglio is to put this on meats. And one of the things that it's most delicious on is if you're a meat eater, okay, especially a nice steak, if you love steak. And I remember we used to have steak once in a while, not very often. And when you put this mixture over the steak, I can't tell you the flavor that it gave to the steak. Unbelievable, just unbelievable. And you could put it on chicken, you could put it on pork, you could put it on fish. Putting it on fish is delicious. He would do that too. So this Ammoglio is so versatile. It really, really is. And you could even make bruschetta with this particular dressing.
Do you think I have enough garlic?
How much garlic did you put in?
Three cloves.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And then you put some olive oil in there.
I can try to muddle it with a spoon.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just put some olive oil just so we can see what it will look like. Not a lot of olive oil. maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. You can do a little bit more. Okay, that's good. That's good. A little salt. Well, you don't have to do, I mean, this is for you to eat. So, little salt. Yep. Little pepper. Little pepper. To give it that little zing. I think my father probably sometimes put in some hot pepper, but I don't remember.
Unfortunately, I have no hot pepper.
I don't remember.
Actually, I have cayenne.
My brothers probably would say he did. I just don't remember. I just remember this part. And it was it's the most delicious mixture, especially like fresh tomatoes that you would get in the garden or you would get at your farmer's market. When they're really fresh and new, it's absolutely mouth-watering.
We'll do that after. We'll taste it all after.
Okay.
We'll do a little taste. So there we go.
Can I see? Yes. Very nice. Very nice. And one thing I would like to say, most of the time, now he would do it with other tomatoes, but most of the time it was with plum tomatoes because plum tomatoes seem to have a real good texture and to make this kind of a marinade. But you can use any tomatoes. You don't have to. You don't have to.
I knew that, but the problem is this isn't the season for tomatoes, so
it's not. This is not the season for tomatoes. Absolutely not.
So I bought the cheapest, which was grape or cherry, whatever.
I'm just telling you the flavors that the way it comes out. I want to say one thing about the tomato thing. You could also, if you want to, you can also put this, like if you wanted to marinate like chicken in here or maybe a pork or something, you could also marinate it in there. But what you don't do is don't throw away the juices, like cook it up or something so that you can put it right back on top when you're done with it. So that is basically your Ammoglio. We've done a pesto. We've now done an Ammoglio. And the last one we're going to do is a mint dressing. For a marinade, it's for a marinade and also to dress the meat or anything really that you want to use the dressing for. And this particular thing, he always used this mainly when he made lamb, mainly, okay? As time progressed, he would put it on chicken or beef or pork, but mainly this was done for his. What goes into this mint dressing is garlic, mint, vinegar, and a little olive oil if you would like. He did not put olive oil in it. He just put the mint, the garlic, and the vinegar in here. Now, when this is done, one thing about this is he used this. This was like his Bible when he made this, okay? And what he did was he took the garlic and put it into the mortar. He had it chopped up, and then he put it into the mortar. He took a little salt. He put that into the mortar. And he would take this pesto, and he would pound, and mash it, okay? So that it became such a paste. I mean, it was almost like water. How he did that. Then he would take the mint. He had that all chopped up. Throw that into the same bowl and muddle, and crush. Then he would take that out, put it into a bowl, and pour the vinegar in and mix it up, salt and pepper. And that was his marinade for his lamb speedies and he used it to sprinkle over the speedies when they were complete. Absolutely delicious. He also used this when we had Easter lamb. He had a whole leg of lamb, put it in the oven, and pour this. I mean, he made a lot when he did the Easter lamb, and pour this mixture over the whole top of the lamb. Cover it up, cook it in the oven. I can't remember how long he cooked it, probably a long time. And when it came out, it was the most flavorful piece of meat you ever want to taste. I mean, absolutely delicious. And that's basically your mint dressing. And you could use this for chicken, pork. You could use this for fish, some fishes. I'm just trying to think everything else he would have used it for. He used it for many, many things. I don't know if we ever had it on pasta, but he would put it like on a mixture of, let's say he had some tomatoes and some celery, cucumbers, and we mixed it all up. He would put the dressing of the mint dressing on top of that.
I use it on salad.
Salad, you could put this on your salad, which is so tasty. So this mint dressing is also a very versatile dressing to use in your.
It's interesting because the well, like the Middle Eastern cooking, you know, and Sicilian cooking is very similar.
Oh, I truly believe that the mint part of this recipe came from the Greeks. That's what I truly believe, because the island was inhabited by all kinds of people.
Right, the Mediterranean,
the races and whatever that came in there. And I truly believe that mint, because the Greeks have such a big mint base of cooking, I truly believe that that's how this all came to be.
Well, I was also thinking like the Turkish.
Oh, yes.
The, you know, the Middle Eastern cooking uses a lot of mint.
Oh, yes.
As well. So
another thing this would be good on is mushrooms. If you love mushrooms, this is so delicious on mushrooms. You can make this, and you can make a little bruschetta, make this mint thing, and get your little pieces of mushrooms or whatever you want to use on top of the bruschetta. Sprinkle this on top, toast it, put it in the oven, and take it out and eat it. It's something you can play with. That's what's very nice about this dressing.
Well, since I don't have a pestle and mortar, I'm going to have to just mix it with a spoon. You get the idea. I mean, now you know what he used is this pesto, okay? And he would muddle and pound with this pesto make. I mean, every time you walked into the house, if he was cooking, this was like on one hand, his knife was on the other hand. I mean, he lived by this. So, what I was going to say is, fresh mint is easier than dry mint.
Oh, yes, but you can use dry mint, but fresh mint is easier, much easier to use. Yes, that's enough. And like I said, you could, on the recipe we'll put it, you can add olive oil to this, but like I said, he didn't. He just used this mixture of the garlic, the mint, the vinegar, and salt and pepper. That's as I remember it. Okay, that's what he did.
So this would be, and then you gotta let it sit a little bit, you know.
Yep.
Let me clean all this up, and then we'll come back and just kind of like
we'll go over it.
Show everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll be back. Okay, we're back. Just show. I know we showed you once, but we kind of wanted to show you
with some food, and I didn't make any chicken or steak or anything like that. So figured I would use bread. Okay. So that's that Ammoglio. This is the Ammoglio. Oh no.
Is it good?
Oh no. Excuse me while I finish the bowl. That is so delicious.
Isn't it? Isn't it
Everyone
delicious?
has to try this. This is good.
It's delicious. It's delicious. Just eat it with bread. Forget the chicken and the rest of it. Just eat it with bread.
Okay. So here's our mint.
Now I must say it's good with the bread, but I really think this would be better with your actual meat. I think, but I'm sure it's good if you just dip it. If you want to dip it.
My favorite. Sorry. My favorite was what my mom talked about with the speedies. That was the best. Getting the speedies, and then Grandpa dousing.
And we called it juice. Our juice.
Oh, juice.
It was the speedy juice. That's what we called it. We didn't call it marinade.
No.
It was the juice.
Juice.
And we always say, "Where's the juice?"
Yep.
And he'd have a bottle of it, and he'd have poked holes. He never really had an actual vessel that we bought somewhere. No, he'd have poked holes on top of a soda bottle or soda, whatever. And we would sprinkle it all over. And sometimes he would take the mint stalks, okay? He would dip it into the marinade and sprinkle as the speedies were cooking, and turn them and sprinkle and keep doing it. Oh, the flavor, unreal, just unreal. And the last one is the pesto. And this would be tasty, taste very nice, Amy. This would taste good on most anything. This would taste good.
Yep. That cheese.
The cheese. The cheese makes this dish, is the cheese. If you don't have enough cheese in there, it kind of just, I don't know what word to use.
Yeah, the cheese enhances the basil and the pine nuts. It really kind of brings up the flavor.
It just brings it out. Yes, yes. It would be very bland if you didn't have that cheese. And you don't have to use Pecorino Romano. You could use Parmigiano, you have to use, though, a hard cheese, though. You can't use, you can't use mozzarella.
No.
It has to be hard. It has to be a hard cheese that you're grating in there. So basically, there you've got it.
Yes.
Pesto, Ammoghio, mint dressing.
Yep. It's these are, I would say, like you know how the Trinity is like the carrots and the onions and the celery?
Yes.
For like cooking. Well, this is a Trinity for, adding flavor. And the one thing I noticed, the one thing about these is that the mint marinade, definitely you can cook with it, but these I think are better when they're fresh. Like you don't want to pour it on, like if you had pasta and then you poured it on top.
Those two, the Ammoglio and the pesto, are basically fresh additives. Okay,
exactly.
You really don't want to put them in the oven. You put it on top, and like I said, that Ammoglio on a steak, I'm telling you, like I do not eat much beef anymore, but I'll tell you, it is absolutely wonderful. On top of a nice, juicy grilled steak, it's fantastic, that Ammoglio. So there we have it, people, everybody.
Yes.
We hope that you will try these recipes.
Exactly.
And enjoyed another lesson with Gracie and Amy, and that you will
come back for the next episode, which will probably be cookies the next time we come on.
And hopefully my mom will send me a pestle and mortar. You never know. Maybe I'll get it in the mail.
You never know. And you know what? And it's so easy because all I have to do is go to Amazon.
Amazon.
I don't even have to wrap it up in a package.
No, just mail it off. Just send it off.
Send it, buy it. There you go.
Too
Anyways,
funny. Okay.
arrivederci.
Ciao.
Have a good day.
Yep. Bye.